I competed at the Chicago Open. It was honestly a really fun tournament. The plan was I was going to win this match, close out with my buddy Ademir Bajeto, and we're basically going to be good on points for Worlds, do the absolute, enjoy a big freaking pizza. But didn't work out that way. I'm going to save what I should have done different once we get to that point. But this is me and my match in Chicago. So the whole plan from the very beginning was always going to be to pull guard. Good connections here. And this is interesting because normally like in sparring, I actually would not have, I would have not gone away from the sleeve grip here. What I actually would have done was probably just gone straight to the sleeve and then had him in double sleeve, taking him into the keymaster. It's not that it's wrong that I did this, though honestly, I would probably advocate for myself to do what I do in training. Daisy, everybody knows you're a bad girl now. So I would advocate to myself to do what I would do in training, which would be play to double sleeve and go off to the side. Now, I will advocate if I'm just gonna steel man the argument and debate the other side. I have gone cross sleeve before, and it is not wrong to do. But one issue that killed me in this match is I did not give this opponent the level of respect that I should have given him. Not that I wasn't trying, but a mistake that we make that leads to the DQ. That's basically the heart of why we ended up losing this match. But I ended up going to the cross sleeve, and this is when I started looking to get the lapel out. And honestly, it was an instinctual decision why I chose not to go to spider lapel, but we immediately started off balance and looked to set up the lapel zombie here. But there's actually like two interesting things that this guy decided to do. Now, he's either studied quite a bit of my film, or this is just something he naturally does a lot of, but he was really married to the control of my left leg here. For those of you that know the lapel zombie system, I need this knee to get across so I can off balance and be able to attack. But if my leg is kind of stuck here because he's controlling the pants really good, it's going to be extremely difficult to do so. But this sequence right here, guys, was actually a lot of fun. Because if you look, keeping him there, I off balance, and I kick my leg all the way through to close guard. Because now, where is his right arm? It's right behind him. He's still holding my pants right now. So what we do is we be patient, see what he's going to do. Right when he lets go, we settle, and we immediately go again. He puts all of his weight, though, guys, on the side that I'm trying to off balance from. So what I'm actually trying to do here, is I'm actually trying to off balance him this way, or slightly up, but ultimately it's going to make this far leg heavier. So if you'll notice in this position here, I actually go back to the collar, and because he chose to stay there, we threatened going for the triangle. Now, he already had his right arm in here, so there's no real way I could have got my hips higher in this position. But again, this is a threat and an off balance. If I could have locked up the triangle and got it, it would have been a done deal. So look, he ends up bringing this arm in. And again, I'm thinking instinctually here, guys. I actually think about bringing my arm through, because if I can fit my arm through there, I can actually set up a Barata Plata. But our wonderful referee that gave me the most confusing explanation why he DQ'd me in the absolute world is standing in the way at this moment. But we shoot for the triangle, and then we immediately go again. Now, this guy does actually a really interesting thing, which is very, very odd to me. He actually started to try to run away in this position, which is very weird because I have such strong control of the lapel still, and he's basically going to drag me here. Now, I will tell you the one thing that this does do, it does make the knee bar more difficult to be able to achieve in this position because of where his knee placement ends up going. With that being said, what you're about to see, it does give you a free sweep in this scenario. Now, 99.9% of the time, guys, I am going to point the knee to the sky and I'm going to pass. There have been times goofing around that I've gone for leg locks from this position too. This is something I would never, ever, ever do to an opponent I have a lot of respect for. Like, I'm talking like, this guy's really good. I really want to beat him. Not that I didn't want to beat this guy, but from what I felt in the exchanges, I felt like I was 100% okay and I could do what I want. So I had a concept that was going to work from this position. Because he has no guard, then I would be able to, because he's no guard, then I'd be able to fall back. If he comes up on top, it's going to be fine. But I rest my case. But notice how both of his knees are facing me here. In this position, while I'm playing the leg, I still have the lapel, but I'm actually going to try to point his knees to the sky. So I kind of turn, taking my time, feeling the position, make sure I got my 2. And look how I start to build height here because my knee is in front of his quad because of the lapel being fed. Now, what I would do in this position, I would probably I would bring this knee behind the bottom Achilles if I get the knees facing up. Once I achieve that, then I'm basically in a leg drag. I'm gonna take my right arm, letting go of the lapel. I like going what's called the overback grip. So I'm gonna grab like this behind my partner's head. And then basically based off what he does, I'm gonna react and work to pass. But we catch the far ankle, and with both his legs between mine, we're setting up the ankle lock here. Now my hope was he was going to be able to escape this leg. Once he escapes that leg, his ankle's mine. Done deal. But we end up not getting into that exchange. So I'm trying to make a little bit of space for him, trying to give him an opportunity to escape, pull that leg out. But again, he's choosing to try to drive right up into me here. Truthfully, watching this back in this position right here, which is why, guys, watching back your film, not just in your matches, but in sparring is really helpful. Right here, I probably would have, number one, I think the lapel is just like really tight between my leg and his leg. But I'm gonna try to bring this foot to his belly to like stomp his belly. I'm gonna make space pointing my hips all the way this way so then he can escape his leg and then I can go all in on the far leg. Thinking back, I think this may have been the right decision for me. But here we start to threaten a toe hold. But again, I have a specific knee bar that I really would like to set up. It's something I've been working. Things get a little hairy, don't go the direction that I want. He was very adamant on building up to his feet. So I get control of his foot. I look to bring my leg over so I can rotate up and over and finish, but I lose the foot. This was the actual knee bar that I was going to go for. So again, because I want to review this with you guys, as in how you should be reviewing it, what should or could I have done different in this situation here? Well, for those of you that know anything about the locky position, which Lachlan Giles calls it the locky lock, you need to keep these toes facing this way, but I need to use my head, pinching it as far as I can down towards the mat. Give me just a second, Sean. I'll actually look at your message here in a minute. But I need to pinch my ear down all the way down to the mat. So then when I do go for the heel, the foot is still going to be pointing that direction. Because you saw he read what I was going to go for. So he really plantar flexed his foot and turned it the other way. If I pinch my ear aggressively down to the mat towards like the big knuckle, the big toe, that foot cannot rotate as easy. And I would argue it wouldn't rotate at all. Because if I put my head down towards the mat and I try to like use my head to encourage his foot to like dorsiflex like this, he's not going to be able to rotate. Should have rotated all the way up and over here. Maybe take reverse close guard. This is when it starts to get hairy in this position here. I let go. I'm not touching the leg. This is basically false reap, kind of a reap position here, guys. I'm watching the ref, paying attention to him. I'm controlling the lapel. And what I do, he falls back. That is not something that I physically did to him. But look at where his toes are facing, guys. His toes are facing 100% towards me here, which means his knee has to be facing towards my groin. You cannot be reaping if your groin is facing to the top of the kneecap. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. But this was the logic I had in my head and speaking to other referees. This referee disagreed. Another one had a different opinion as well. It's totally fine, guys. Like, for me, this is me explaining what I'm thinking, not arguing it shouldn't have been a DQ. Because look, I got DQ'd. It is what it is. Life goes on, right? But here, I'm not even applying pressure. And dude, honorable dude, he even told me off to the side. I felt no pressure. I don't know why you got DQ'd there. I am not putting any pressure here. My heels aren't curling in at all. All I'm doing is focusing on control and trying to get my head to this inside of this big toe right here. So then I can start attacking the knee bar. All right, let me see what. Oh, dude, I missed a couple of years. No, wait. Yeah, that's from 50-50 though. So 50-50 lapel, you can only hold it for 20 seconds and then you get penalties. So even then, if somehow that was the case, which is not 50-50, it's not the position and it is not, but if it was, I would have just got a penalty. It's Mikey concepts, but it's more of like what Lachlan Giles was doing. If you watch Lachlan Giles versus oh my gosh, Marcelo Garcia. And this is where the DQ happened. Talk about heartbreaking. So let's go and go back here though, because where was this match actually lost? It was lost right here, guys. It's not that I did anything mechanically wrong, but it's about risk to reward profile. And I need to treat every opponent. This is stuff that I've preached before, guys. I'm not perfect. I need to treat every opponent like they are the best in the world. So I need to do everything as if I'm doing this to Andy Murasaki. So if I'm in this position here and I'm fighting Andy Murasaki, what am I doing? I'm passing his guard. What am I doing? What do I do 99.9% of the time? I pass the guard. So for me, this is where the match fell apart and broke. Because everything else after this has zero meaning if I chose to stay on top and pass. And guys, I'm extremely confident in my guard passing. Like, a lot of guys know me for my lapel work and everything else like that. And truthfully, it's probably a sin that I haven't shown a lot of my guard passing in competition. But if you ask anybody that's trained with me before, ask them about my guard passing. I like a lot of pressure work, a little bit of speed work. I work a lot of leg drags, a lot of flat and a half guard. I like passing the guard. But for whatever reason, made a bad choice to fall back on the legs. If I would have got connected to the leg, I'm very confident I would have broke his leg. I'm very confident in my ankle lock mechanics in this position. But this right here, this is what I have to change. Now, for when you guys are looking back at film, does that mean I don't look at anything else over here? No, I'm going to look at these mechanics here. Like what I mentioned with my head, pinching down these toes. Next time I get in a position like this, because I was in this exact position with Kevin Maheshna, this is what I need to do. I need to pinch my ear down. I need to stay keeping this foot dorsiflex as much as I can with my neck, and I need to keep the foot from rotating in, period. If it rotates in, just let him get up. Because look, if I would have kept my foot in there first before rotating up and over, he would have been building height, and I actually have some unique offense if my foot would have stayed outside this hip here for lapel guard. But everything right here felt great, felt dominant, like I was leading the way, controlling where we wanted to go. This was my opportunity to show my guard passing. We chose not to. But this is why we compete. Sometimes we'll make mistakes that we know that are mistakes after the fact, and we're like, should have done better. But the beautiful thing is, I'll be competing in Columbus, Ohio next weekend, and we're going to correct this. So we're going to go through our normal thing, what we're going to be doing, planning doing at Worlds, but I'm really hoping I get the opportunity to get up on top, so then we can make another video covering the improvements that I made from this position, choosing to pass and stay on top. So based off where we're at in time right now, guys, we're actually going to stop it there, but Make sure you guys check out the links down below if you guys are watching this back, because I'm telling you what it's going to do. It's going to help you guys take your jiu-jitsu to the next level. And we're going to cover my match with Kevin Maheshna and some of the other guys too. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.